This is Scrub Guides. Today we're answering Dragon Ball FighterZ beginner questions. So I know, you've seen the footage, and I know you've tried the beta, and you're just freaking out going, oh my god, how do I get into this? Where do I start? I've never played fighting games before, but this has pulled me in. Well, you're not alone. In fact, you are far from alone. You are the overwhelming majority of people I am seeing and hearing from on my social media everywhere, on every timeline, on every subreddit. The hype is at a fever pitch, and more than ever, new people are showing up to try and cross that gap. It seems like the FGC is floating on King Kai's planet, and there's no snake way bridge for people on Earth to make their way over. Well, hopefully this Scrub Guide can do that for you, because you know what? It's not that hard. It honestly is very simple and intuitive, but I think it's important to know what you're getting into when it comes to playing fighting games, and in particular, if you have an interest in not getting completely stomped online every time you try. There's an aspect of fighting games that doesn't always get covered, but it is there, and it is the aspect that involves not playing the game, but researching and learning and looking up how to do things and figuring things out. Now, it helps to have an inquisitive personality and be the type of person that loves solving problems, because if you think about it, fighting games are just a series of problems that other players can create for you, and if you have the solutions pre-researched, all you have to do is execute them and implement them, and then you'll win. There's a limited number of moves and a limited number of things that anyone you're fighting can do to you, and if you simply prepare in advance, you will know that rock beats scissors and paper beats rock, and that will have you at an advantage to anybody who popped in the game and didn't know those things. So really, step zero is be prepared to do a little bit of homework sometimes. Be the type of person that is willing to look things up. So question one, how do I play? Insert disc. Mash R2 to fly at opponent. Mash square to do combo. Big combo, big win. More importantly, more realistically, you're probably questioning, how do I win? Well, the answer to that's the same as it's always been. You need to know the game inside out, know your characters inside out, have the reactions to shut down whatever's coming at you, predict what they're going to do because you know the game inside out, and know what's safe and unsafe, have pretty good execution. Simple enough. That's how you win on all fighting games, really. I think what you're getting at, and what you probably want to be asking, is how do I learn? And that's a really important question. The first thing you're going to want to do when you touch this game is walk over to the southwest area of the hub and complete the battle tutorial. Take the 10 minutes and learn about the 6 buttons this game uses. For those taking notes at home, that's your light, medium, and heavy attacks. Heavies launch your opponent into the air and allow you to follow up. Your S button, which is your key blast projectile, and your 2 assists, which call in your partners to either do a special move and jump out, or tag them in, respectively. You'll also learn about the Dragon Rush, which is L plus M together. It serves as a throw. It's an unblockable attack that you can use to open up your opponent when they're blocking. And of course, the Super Dash, which is H plus S together, which basically turns you into a heat-seeking missile, which allows you to very quickly catch up to the opponent and start your offense. What it doesn't teach you, however, is when to press these buttons. And to be perfectly honest, learning when to press them is what the rest of the game is about. People get to the top of their skill levels and are still learning when to press these buttons. Every action in the game has a counteraction that beats it out, and the only way to learn these is through your own matches, through training mode, or by watching footage of other matches where people have figured it out. As you collect this knowledge, every time someone performs one of these actions, you'll see it as an opening. A lot of the time, people have done the heavy lifting, but this is a brand new game. Not everything is going to be out there right now. People are discovering it. So don't be afraid to jump into training mode, test out what you're thinking of, and find that answer for yourself. But that's a part of playing the game. It's unlike a single player game where you kind of just walk forward and eventually things will hold your hand and kind of tell you what to do, and you'll make progress. A little bit of getting better at fighting games involves the stuff you do when you're not playing them. So in summary, walk over to the battle tutorial area, complete them so that you know what the game's about and what's happening on the screen, and then the rest is trial, error, and watching replays, streams, and combo videos. Question 2. What character should I use? This is a trap. Don't fall for it. Do not fall into this mentality. It is too early for that. Pick someone you enjoy. Pick a character you like. If you like their style, if you like their aesthetics, if you like their gameplay elements, if you like whatever, their colors, pick someone you enjoy spending time with, because that's all that matters right now. And you want to be able to make sure that you're having fun with this game when it's at its least fun. And if you're playing characters you don't care about and constantly switching over and not putting any work or time into someone you like, the likelihood of you dropping everything altogether is massively increased. So just literally look at the character select screen and go with your gut. Worrying about team synergy is pointless when you should be worrying about how to do combo. Worrying about what genre of story you're going to write is pointless when you don't know the alphabet. So I found my team. Now what? Now you hit the lab and find out what you're working with. Each one of your characters should have a bread and butter combo that you can reliably do when you're playing against other people if you land a hit. You want to work on having pretty much a bread and butter combo for every type of stray hit that you can land. So sometimes you're not always going to land that standing jab. Sometimes you're going to land a crouching heavy. Sometimes you're going to land a move in the air. And what you want to be able to do is convert any stray hit into a combo. So practice multiple scenarios and basically picking up a combo from wherever you get it, because you never know where the other player is going to be and where you're going to land that hit. But you do want to have the ability to capitalize when it does happen. When opportunity meets preparation, that's what we like to call big damage. And when I say bread and butter combos, I don't mean auto combos. Get those out of your system as soon as you possibly can. Do not get attached. The reason why is because they're unsafe on block, and when people see you spamming that button, they will punish you for it, and they're going to make it hurt. Do something real, and I'll give you a starter example. With any character, do standing light, crouching medium, standing medium, jump forward, and then light medium in the air, up forward again, light medium, down heavy. That'll launch the character, and then do your super dash, at which point you'll follow up, and then you can do a light, medium, heavy air combo. Simple, easy, has lots of options for how you end that off, because you can tag a super at the end of that, you can do a vanish, you can do a tag, you can do whatever you want. So just start there for now, and then look into what your character specific stuff is. The assist system is confusing. I don't know when to tag. Help. I'm panicking. Yeah, you are. And it's not that bad, to be perfectly honest. You'll get used to it with time. In fact, I promise you it'll slow down even if you think it's too fast, because the game itself gets slower once people stop being super aggressive. They start looking for counters, and that gives you time to figure things out. Either way, when it comes to assists, don't get overwhelmed by it. Just think about it this way. The 3 characters you're picking are all parts of a whole. They're not given the massive move lists that other fighting game characters have. They're given a very short, small list, usually 4 to 5 moves tops, sometimes even less than that, because they're all forming part of the whole. It's almost like one character's the head, one's the body, and one are the legs, and you have access to all of them at the same time. So that's the right way to think about it. When it comes to assists, the 3 simple ways you want to think about those is 1, as a combo extension. So when you do one of your bread and butter combos, try calling out one of your assists at the end to do another hit that'll give you time to land and either jump or super dash back up to do some more damage. It's as simple as that. The second way is by using it to mix up your opponent. So if you do an overhead, which is forward and medium punch, you can call out an assist such as Gohan's Dragon Punch, And that will not only protect you if they block, but it'll allow you to land and continue the combo, because if you do forward and medium punch on its own, you'll get them overhead, but you can't turn it into anything. It's not cancelable. The assist gives you enough time to turn that nothing into a combo. Lastly, the other way to use assists is to mix up the opponent. So if you were to call out an assist like, say, Vegeta, he comes in spamming his fireballs, and you have enough time to jump over, air dash over, or perhaps even teleport, try to create a mix-up. Some characters have baked-in moves that allow them to cross up and attack from the opposite side, such as Gohan or Cell. Goku Black. You want to use these opportunities to make them confused as to where they have to block, because they should be focusing on you at all times. As for tagging, the moment to tag is when you see a decent chunk of blue health that needs to be recouped. The way you get health that back in this game is by putting your characters on the bench and giving them time in the background. So when you see you have maybe a third or more on your health bar in blue health, you want to get the character out by safely tagging to another partner, but don't do raw tags. So don't hold down the button or press forward and assist, because yes, that'll tag your next character in, but you're putting yourself at a huge risk by allowing them to just press down an H and combo you to hell, and you'll take a ton of damage for nothing. The safe way to get your assist characters in is by doing tag supers or tag combos. So one easy way to do that is simple. You simply do a super with your character, spend some meter, and then press the assist button, and then that assist will come in, do their super to follow up yours, and that assist will stay in as the main character at that point. So you safely brought them in with no risk. The other way to do this is at the end of a combo, you can simply do your teleport kick, which is M and H, and then in the time frame that the opponent is flying through the air, you can press forward and tag or hold tag there, and then you'll come in and continue the combo with your new character, safely bringing them in. The third way would be the ultimate Z cancel, which is simply at the end of a combo doing either half circle forward or half circle back plus assist. That brings them in and lets your tag character do their super without you having to do one first, and that way the character will stay in safely. And last but not least, you have a Z change, where when you're blocking, you press forward and assist, and it'll bring in your tag character. It slows the game down a little bit, so they're not as in danger as they usually would be if you didn't do the Z change mechanic specifically. But all of these are preferable to just panicking and holding down the tag button. Help. Whenever I see people talking about moves or strategies or combos, they use a bunch of numbers and letters, and it's super confusing and it looks like another language. What does this all mean? Remember what I said about being inquisitive and looking things up? This is one of those opportunities. It's actually not that confusing at all. What you're looking at is what the anime community has been using for years. It's the numpad annotation. So when you see numbers like 4, 1, 2, 3, 6, H, your eyes pop out of your head, but honestly, all you have to do is look over at your numpad on your keyboard, and you'll see that the numbers correspond to the directions. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 6 is simply moving the stick from back, half circle forward, and then pressing H. 9 would be jumping forward, and 5 would be standing still. Sometimes you have to tell people exactly what movement to make, and it's not a traditional motion. It's not one that we're used to describing with something like quarter circle forward or tiger knee. There's little weird motions that come into play with anime games and Arc Sys games in particular, and the numpad system helps describe them precisely. The other reason for them is because when you're looking up or discussing things with international players, you don't need to speak a certain language to understand what 214L means. Everyone can look at that and figure out that means down, down, back, back, and L, the light punch button, even if you're all speaking a different language. Beyond that, if the letters are confusing to you, L is light, M is medium, H is heavy, S is special, and generally you'll see like A1 and A2 for assist 1 and 2. That's all you really have to think about. What button layout should you use? Whatever you're comfortable with. If you feel the default is fine on a pad, that's okay. If you're on a stick, you might want to mess around with it to see what's comfortable. Personally, I do light, medium, heavy as the first 3 buttons, and then S, assist 1, assist 2 as my bottom 3 buttons. But either way, if you've gotten to this point and you haven't been scared away by all this information, then congrats. Welcome to Fight Games. You're probably ready to learn how to survive online.